need to understand, especially dealing with time. Now, when the Gregorian calendar was made, it took us off our natural cycle, which at one time was said was supposed to be 13 months. They dropped it to 12, which naturally throws you off once you try to grasp their concept of time. See, at every holiday that is on the calendar, that is a day that they're doing certain rituals to keep you enslaved, to bring in certain energy to keep them alive, because they're not originators. They got to use us in order to get what they need. Because, in so many words, after that main war, 93 billion years ago, as it said, they were shut off from the higher frequencies. So everything they get, they have to go through technology, extreme technology to get. But there's one thing that they can't access that we can, and that's spirit. That's the psychic energy. And they have to use us to bring that in for them. So every time you think a negative thought, every time you think about harming someone, every time, well, harming someone for the purposes of negativity, because you have to defend yourself, don't get me wrong. But the moment you start thinking negative frequencies like you ain't nothing, you ain't this, in so many words, they got higher dimensional demons and workers that feed off that negative energy and make sure that they interface with your superconscious mind, which is your spirit, to make sure that you willingly create the hell that you have, or that some of you may have. But most of you in here look pretty happy, so I ain't worried about that. You know, y'all look real good. I see some of you glowing in here. So, but that's pretty much what is taking place. Now, with them taking you off this 13th cycle, you know, it puts us out of whack. It puts us out of connection with the earth. And it definitely has us on a deeper moon cycle than what we're supposed to be on. See, these entities use the moon energy against us. See, we're solar children. We're supposed to receive all our instructions from the Creator through the sun. The soul that we see in the sky, the soul that's in the earth, and the soul that's here. Direct relay stations. And the soul of our solar system receives souls or information from other suns. All linking back to the grand central sun, where all instructions come from. Now, if they can mess up the calendar and keep you from tapping into this force, you'll be out of whack. And that's why we haven't been able to tap into our deeper powers and to be able to overstand nature. Nature is simple to overstand, but it's all the negative technology that separates us from it. See, you ain't got to levitate no more. They got airplanes. You don't have to teleport. They got other vehicles for that. You don't have to communicate by telepathy or telementation. They got telephones. They made sure that because they understand that within the DNA, in order for your higher powers to work, you have to be exercising them at all times. So if they can create something to make sure that the same thing that you have within you, that you had within all the time, they have to make sure that that is shut off. It's not to say that you can't tap into it, but they make sure things are shut off so you won't tap into it. Because the higher you become and the higher you vibrate and the more you know, the weaker they become. And that's one of the reasons why they're trying to stop us from going to fourth density. Because once we hit fourth density, we on their level. They don't want another battle like what happened 93 billion years ago. They don't want another one of those when the first humans rebelled against them on other star systems. Now see, your Star Wars stories and all of that, don't take that for fantasy. That stuff happened, is happening, is going to happen. Period. So get used to it. It's not to say that you should grab a lightsaber and a laser blaster and join the fight. Just be conscious of what's going on, you know? Now, with this 13-month cycle that they took us off of and brought us to 12, they're said that there's a 13th astrological sign that there is missing. And one of the symbols for this 13th astrological sign was that of the spider's web. And what that symbolized was all the astrological powers of all the signs coming into one. All your various prophets have had this energy. They may have been born at a time of this and that, Aries or whatever, but they came at a time during a certain cycle where they had all those energies connected in all of them, period. Now, we all have all the tendencies and negativities that all astrological signs have. It's just that when we're born, one particular sign, like me, Gemini, is most dominant. But it's not to say that the others shouldn't be paid attention to, because they're all balanced. You come through a certain sign to learn a certain lesson in the lifetime that you choose to be in at this time. You ain't just thrown here. On a higher level, you chose to be here. Now, here's where it gets kind of deep, and I've lost a lot of people. Now, in modern science, they have told you that the sun is this big, fiery ball in the center of our solar system that's composed of hydrogen and helium. Y'all can see by my expressions that I'm not at all buying that crap. I'm just letting y'all know what they say. And that the sun is very, very, very hot and blah, 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 blah. Now, with what I've studied with metaphysics and being on a level of understanding that I'm on, I've come to find, yeah, the sun gives off a high amount of energy, but it all depends on how you want to look at it. Now, have you ever wondered that when the sun, when we are furthest away from the sun, it's summer. When we're closest, it's winter. Now, they say that, I'm not even going to go into that, but basically they say that this is how it's supposed to occur. Now, you have to remember, modern scientists are guessers. They deal with some type of screwed up theory. It ain't necessarily true, but since they got all their different degrees and different things, most of us think they know everything. They don't. Now, from what I've learned, now, if the sun was supposed to be this big ass ball of heat, how come this planet Mercury ain't burned up yet? Now, if heat kick our butt in the summer, imagine what go on here. And Mercury is so small. How come Mercury hasn't burned up yet? Think about it. Now, they say that Venus is hot. Hotter than Mercury. That don't make no damn sense, because Mercury is closer. But they say this planet gives off more heat, or has more heat than Mercury. They run you and they shift you, and you be like, well, I guess I got to take what they say because they know more than I do. No, they don't. But from what I've been taught, just like every planet, I only drew 3 here, I'm limiting the space. Every planet has a soul or a sun. The reason why they call it a sun rather than soul is to invoke more masculine energy so you don't pay attention to the mother. That's why they call it sun. Just because you spell it S-U-N versus S-O-N, it's the same word sound, it's the same meaning, period. I'm told that the sun is composed, has its own world, consisting of 13 high vibratory worlds, with one in the middle making 13, that gives out so much energy to the point that with our state of consciousness, it looks like a ball in the sky. But the reason why it looks like a ball in the sky for us, just like you have Earth, we have the atmosphere and all the different layers that go from there. Now I'm going to get into what causes the heat that we feel from the sun rays. Now, you can do this for an experiment. Take a flashlight that has maybe a square or a rectangular bulb or glass. Take a glass bowl, put it on the table, shine that light over that bowl. No matter how that flashlight is shaped, it always comes out circular. So basically, it's the atmosphere or the levels around our planet that make it seem like a ball. But really, you ever wonder why in space they don't show you the sun when the NASA scientists go up there? And I even saw a picture with my contacts that showed the sun. The sun didn't look nothing like what we see. If anything, from what I saw, it was just like a little ball. Last year, they had a special on Channel 5 or Fox 5 talking about the conspiracy of the cover-up of what actually happened on the moon when astronauts went up there. And if you paid attention to the pictures, when they showed the sun, you saw energy, but it wasn't no ball like we see it. You see what I'm saying? So they know what's up because NASA is a part of a bigger organization that most of us can't even fathom. It's for the purposes to keep you disinformed of what really is going on. This is how they keep our left brain closed off from the right brain. Now, say this is the atmosphere with the ozone layer. This is Earth, or Tiamat, which is one of its original names. Earth is a name responding or corresponding to any celestial or any body. So Jupiter can be called an Earth, but his name is Jupiter. We are on Earth, but it's called Tiamat. Another name is Terra or Terra Firma or Shan. Has so many different names depending on what scriptures you read, but it just ain't Earth. Okay, now, with our ozone layer and our atmosphere, when our soul or sun beams energy, it's not just beaming off heat as you've been told. What the suns get, remember I told you that all suns are connected. They're like relay beacons. They not only beam what we call, or what they give off as light, they beam consciousness. They beam instructions. Basically, every soul within every planet that is hollow receives specific instructions. With these instructions, it is said the type of life that's going to be seated on that planet, type of weather patterns, type of land, you name it, is included within those instructions. Now, what causes heat is not the sun's rays on its own. It's infrared beams. Now, when our soul is trying to beam in consciousness, and you got these idiots trying to block it out in so many words with these chemtrails and all of this, anywhere it goes, these rays are going to fight through. At whatever extent that it needs to go through, they're going to fight through. Now, when it comes in through this negative atmosphere we have, it causes friction. With friction, what is given off? Heat. Same thing occurs on that level, and that's what we feel. That's exactly what we feel. So, like I say, you ain't got to take my word for it. Do your research. And you can start off on basic things. You can start off in an encyclopedia. The minute you see keywords that don't sound right, research it. That's what I did. And plus, with the help of Dr. Delbert Blair, I don't overstand it.